Now, last night, Donald Trump defeated Hillary Clinton in what the corporate media is calling a stunning upset. Now, Trump right now is sitting at 279 electoral votes, and that's to be amended. It is expected that Michigan will be called for him as well. So, massive victory. I would say he'll end up probably pretty close to 300 electoral college votes. Now, there is a bright side to this, surprisingly, and that's Clinton winning. Actually, she won the popular vote. Not by much,
Right.
but she
Well,
won.
we still don't know exactly by how much she did because they're still tallying some stuff, at least uh, I'm pretty sure as of the recording of this. And there
Mm-hmm.
is a chance, I heard this from John Nichols on Democracy Now! Today, there is a chance that, yes, it wasn't a huge victory, but there's a chance that she'll have won the popular vote by the largest amount that a presidential candidate has ever won it that also lost the election due to this archaic system.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's
It's an
that.
important factor to
Mm-hmm.
not forget about because, I mean,
It's
really,
true.
the Electoral College is not a good thing. It should have gone away a long time ago, and this really screams to it right now.
Yeah. So I have some more of a breakdown as well that might upset a lot of you. Um, According to the numbers, only around, I should say, less than half of all eligible voters stayed home. They weren't interested. They were done. About 25%, somewhere around there, voted for Clinton, and slightly more than 25% voted for Donald Trump, and I think 1% voted for Gary Johnson. So there's that. And of course, now you're going to see corporate media saying it's all Gary Johnson's fault. Well, I disagree with that. But before I get into that, more stuff. Now, the Republicans also won the House and the Senate last night as well. So Republicans do have a slim majority in the Senate. Not a filibuster-proof majority, by the way. So that does give the Democrats some measure of recourse. But effectively, January 20th, 2017, Republicans will be in control of all branches of government. This is literally the nightmare scenario that is playing out that we have warned you about. I do not think that this could get much worse. The Democratic Party has just been handed a disastrous defeat. So now let me be a bit controversial here. I think this is what needed to happen. I
I
know.
think a lot of people are saying that to cope, and yeah, it's a fair point, but let's elaborate, please.
I'm gonna get into this. So look, I know Trump supporters, and talking to some of them, mainly working class white people like myself, saying that, hey man, I'm tired of the corruption. I want to drain the swamp. I don't want the establishment anymore. Now, look, that's from Trump supporters that I've talked to here in Michigan, in the flyover states, in the places that don't get a lot of coverage. Now, don't get me wrong, there is that, as Hillary Clinton put it, that basket of deplorables, right? That do make up a chunk of their base. But you got to remember, that's not unique to Donald Trump. That chunk of the base has always gone to the Republican Party, the ones that are racist and sexist and misogynist and stuff like that, right? But I'm saying that the people that put him over the top in states like Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, well, look, you got to give them, you got to point out the fact that a lot of them were hit hard by the loss of manufacturing, the loss of their jobs by terrible trade deals. And you had Washington media, right, corporate media saying, no, everything's getting better. The jobs are coming back. Our economy's getting better. And these people are like, no, what? No, it's not getting better for me. My job's still gone. I'm working at a gas station while I'm working at another job. In order to make the bills, I'm only getting paid like $8 an hour. Where my old job that is gone, that went to Mexico, used to pay me 16. So no, I'm not doing well. Why do you keep telling me that I'm doing well when I'm absolutely not? So there's that disconnect between the media, the elite, and regular working people who are frustrated. And see, this goes to the Democrats, the establishment media, and the pundits, right? They can sit there and they can pull out facts and figures, right, that do show that the economy is getting better. But see, that doesn't matter to somebody who is hurting, who has lost their job. And for me personally, I look at that elitism sometimes when I look at the New York bubble or the LA bubble, right, and the Washington bubble. And I'm like, no, you're not speaking our language. You don't quite understand how things really are here. Yeah, things might be getting a lot better in the cities, but here in flyover country, it ain't getting better. It's still shitty. So, and I feel like I myself, during this election cycle, have not done enough to push back against some of that elitism that is inherent to the liberal, to some liberals in liberal circles. And I think that right now, that sort of elitism is kind of the enemy that we really need to focus on and not be smug. We need to explain our message better. We need to do better at pointing out the progressive vision that we have and explaining why it works and why other policies don't work from the Republicans. And so we didn't pay enough attention to the working class, the Democratic Party, and they told people, hey, you're not hurting, you're doing fine, suck it up, vote for no change, vote for the establishment. And that they didn't go for it because, look, the reason that people are hurting is because of neoliberal establishment policies.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, look, the Democratic Party, they need to look at themselves in the mirror, man. And they got to ask themselves, who do we represent? Are we really representing the people? And it's obvious if you pay attention that they're not. They are serving the wealthy donors and have effectively turned their backs on the working class. And look, I gotta point out too that there was one person in the Democratic Party. Actually, there's several people in the Democratic Party, but one was running for president that actually represented the working people. That was Bernie Sanders. And had he not gotten screwed by the DNC, it's very likely that he would have destroyed Donald Trump. But no. What they had to do is they had to put the most establishment candidate up that they could find. And look, here's what you got, right? You got Trump. How do you feel now, DNC? How do you feel now, establishment? Hopefully you feel pretty shitty about this, because that's exactly what you did. You put up the most establishment candidate that you could. The worst candidate that you could. Not on policy, right? Some of her policies were actually a lot better than Trump's. And don't get me wrong, right?
Oh yeah, better than Trump's.
Yeah,
sure.
But nonetheless, they weren't great policies. Not only that, but you add on somebody who was absolutely terrible at campaigning, had way too much baggage. I mean, look, she nearly lost a primary fight with an unknown Jewish socialist from Vermont. And she had
That
every
didn't
single
take any
advantage.
corporate money.
Yes, he didn't take any corporate money. She had every single political advantage. And yet, she still almost lost. She lost a 60-point
I always tell
lead.
people it's like he showed up to a gunfight with a butter knife and almost won that thing. And I think not only does that speak to, the not so great candidate that she was, but also to the very glaring truth that it's time to get money out of politics, and not just Overturned Citizens United, but completely get money out of politics. And my one hope for this entire shit show of an election was that we would kind of start going in that direction.
I'm not done laying into Hillary Clinton, though. So, yes, she had all the advantages against Bernie Sanders. She had even more advantages against Donald Trump. And still, I mean, look, she had a A-plus ground game. She had more staff than Donald Trump. She had lots and lots of money. She had celebrity backing. And what was the other thing that she missed? Humanity. She couldn't relate to regular people. Okay? She could not give a message of hope. She couldn't give a message of change. That was not her message. She was anti that message, remember, in the primary, right? When she was going up against Bernie Sanders, saying, no, 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 your ideas, they're pie in the sky. You should not have hope. Universal health care, that will never, ever happen. Don't
Right.
have any hope. The establishment is going to move forward at a snail's pace, and maybe we'll get something nice. But I'm going to reach out to Republicans. What the hell kind of hope is that? What the hell kind of change is that? It's not. It's not. And people were like, you know what? No, I'm not interested in this. And look, as far as change goes, as far as actually getting stuff like universal health care, it's pretty much guaranteed that we're not going to get it at this point. Not in any time.
Oh no, we're going to go
future.
backwards now.
We're going
he's
totally
gonna,
backwards.
He's going to gut the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
And even though that is a flawed piece of legislation, as
It
we've
is.
talked about many times, it was at least a step towards a universal system, and Obama knew that. And now we're going to go backwards, and who knows when we'll make any progress on healthcare again.
Yeah, and look, I know a lot of people that are losing their lifeline. Literally, the Medicaid expansion, right? One of the good things, the really good things about that piece of legislation that is, as you mentioned, deeply flawed. A lot of people benefit from that. Now it's gone. They're going to lose that. And it's going to go back to where they couldn't get health care, they couldn't afford health care, and they're going to suffer. A lot of people are going to end up suffering, so... And that's the future. I mean, that's what we're in for the next 4 years. And I can't
Well,
help...
it's more than that, Jeff. I mean, we have to
At
keep in
least.
mind, and this is one of the reasons why, it's really tough. As much as I didn't like Hillary Clinton as a candidate, and you didn't like Hillary Clinton as a candidate, and it looks like she was not the best candidate, although people are pointing their fingers in many, many directions, and a lot of those fingers are valid. There's a valid complaint with the Electoral College. There's a valid complaint with the way Clinton ran her campaign. There's a valid complaint with the DNC. There's a lot of valid complaints out there. But there's people that woke up this morning and they're worried about their future in this country. I live in Southern California. I see a lot of members of the Hispanic community and Latino community. They're genuinely afraid of what's going to happen now, and with good reason. And that's what we let happen. And that's I think that's part of the sting of all this. As much as the establishment has really let us down, letting this racist, misogynist, xenophobic, plutocrat lunatic in the White House is just a huge stain on what we are as a nation. And the one thing that's a slightly positive takeaway is numerically there are not more of them than there are of us.
Well, but we didn't, I don't think a lot of us got out. I mean, I pointed out how nearly half of the country didn't vote. They just weren't
True.
interested. And look, I do want to blame the DNC. They crushed dissent. They destroyed change. They said no change
I
for
agree.
you.
I fully agree.
Yeah. And by doing that, they allowed a right-wing populist with fascist tendencies to get the keys to the Oval Office, to the nuclear codes. And look, the DNC and look, our policies over the last 40 years, the neoliberalism, right? That decades and decades of terrible trickle-down economics and policy, well, that helped create this, right? And a lot of that was picked up by the Democrats. They stopped being populist. They started being more neoliberal. And when they continued to move right, the GOP moved further right, and they ended up getting just crazier and more racist. And Donald Trump, look, he took that racism, he took the conspiracies, but he did also go after the corruption. And so that, I think, made him a populist and basically paved the road, man, for him to become president. And we're seeing that.
Well, and it was a snake oil pitch, yeah,
Well,
but
yes.
a lot of people bought into it. I mean,
Exactly.
there was nothing genuine about it. There was nothing true about it.
No.
I mean, this guy is going to be the GOP wet dream. He's going to give them exactly what they want, and he's got them behind him.
And look, as far as going forward, right? So we know what I guess we can kind of figure out what we're in for the next 4 years. or longer. And so, as liberals, I think that we should take this chance to purge the corruption from our party, from the Democratic Party, or, grow the Greens or something, right? Because, look, when it comes to the American people, half of them said, we're done with the establishment. We're done with politics as usual. We need a change. We need a change in our parties. And so we need to be that change. As far as Trump being anti-establishment, no, I don't believe that, and I know you don't believe that. But a lot of people did. And they think that
Right.
Hillary Clinton is the opposite. And she is. She is the establishment. She is not one of us, but neither is Donald Trump. This guy's a supposed billionaire that eats pizza with a knife and fork. Who does that?
That is weird.
That's
very
super fucking weird. And
Yeah,
he might
I didn't dislike him that much before, but now.
he might he might eat fast food like a regular person, right? But he can't be forgiven eating pizza with a knife and fork.
Yeah, I mean, now that's
You're not
just
a
over
human
the
being.
top now.
That's way over the top. But look, Hillary Clinton, not one of us. Donald Trump also not one of us. So we're getting, instead of the corrupted, we have voted, and not you and I, but as a country, have voted in the corruptor. And so, ugh. So I think I get the final lesson, I guess, is that the Democratic Party, you got to learn from this. Okay, this is tough. This is not only a tough blow for the Democrats, but this is tough for the entire country. We're all going to suffer.
Oh, it's tough for the entire world, Jeff. I mean, this is felt around the world. This is a guy that is grossly unpopular.
Mm-hmm.
That is, an open nationalist. That is incredibly xenophobic. And he's on this platform now. He's in one of the most powerful positions in the world,
With the most
and
powerful
we let
military.
it happen.
With the most powerful military in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the Democrats, man, what we have to do over the next 4 years is that we need to work together as progressives, right? We need to get someone. We need to put up a progressive for 2020 that will work for us, that will actually represent Americans, that won't just sell them the snake oil that Donald Trump sold them, who will actually stand up and will be able to defeat Donald Trump using the right kind of populism, not, going and appealing to people's fear and anger and loathing, and going after minorities and women and all that. No, a populist who says, you're angry at the establishment, well, so am I. And I actually have a plan to fix it. And that needs to be our focus for the next 4 years, and to actually get that so we can, yes, we're taking 10 steps back, but maybe we can actually get forward again in 2020. And that's if the Democrats learn their lesson and say, you know what, if we want to win, maybe we should serve the people again.
Well, and let's not get too far ahead yet, because there's still a very, very big fight that's going to happen in 2018. When I go around and talk at colleges and perform at colleges, I always tell a lot of the students, I'm like, the most important election of your lifetime is coming up in 2018. Because regardless of the Trump victory, we are still amidst a time of true revolutionary change in this country, in the way politics is conducted, in the way media is conducted. Hopefully this administration doesn't go after the free and open internet and hinder that at all. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but hopefully they don't. And
we'll see.
That's going to happen no matter what. And a lot of that's going to happen at the local and state level. So 2018, these midterms are incredibly important, especially when you have someone sitting in the White House like Donald Trump with a House and a Senate. So I think we really need to keep up that momentum to 2018, and let's focus on getting there first, and let's focus on getting as many progressives elected as possible.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.